Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of mtgzuby. My name is Zuby, and if you're brand new to this show, the show is all about a little well-known card game called Magic: The Gathering. So, today's episode is a special episode, something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, aka probably about a month or two. This is a first of the series that I like to call Commander Deep Dives. And today's Commander Deep Dive is we are talking none other than my favorite commander, Kruphix, God of Horizons. But it's not just me, though. You are in a treat. I brought on Josh, aka King of Jank, who is well known for making a lot of janky combo videos and trying to explain the combo videos as well too on YouTube. And as of this recording, he just recently passed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So congratulations, Josh. That is amazing. So we take a deep dive into Kruphix, talking about what Kruphix does and how to build him. And we both talk about our deck list and our favorite times playing him and sort of what commanders he pairs up well against and what he doesn't pair up well against, and sort of just certain cards that maybe have recently come out that you want to think about adding in, and just really just talk about all about Kruphix. We go really deep into this, so I'm really excited to present this to you all. And hope you all enjoy it, because I do want to plan on doing more of these episodes. I'm probably going to be doing, first off, probably just doing commanders I'm playing at first that I know I've played. I have like 7 other commanders that I play a lot, and then maybe, who knows, we'll go from there. Maybe even get into Brawl. But the thing is, with each of these episodes, I want to bring on a content creator or someone of the community who really plays the commander, the same commander that I play, or that play commanders that I enjoy playing, you know, vice versa, etc. That way, we're just not doing a, you know, new out-of-the-box commander. I want to only really talk about commanders that I'm familiar with and I've gotten a lot of reps in, and so we're not just talking about the hottest new commander off the top and all that stuff. These are going to be commanders that we're very deeply, intimately familiar with here. So, before we get on with it, mtgzuby can be found on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio, and finally Spotify. So excited it's on Spotify now, because I'm just starting to really learn the wonders of Spotify and how amazing it is. Finally, it took me I don't know how many years. And you know, if you want to help support the show is on Patreon, so you can check out the show's Patreon at patreon.com/mtgzuby. You know, any amount definitely helps. And the show is also sponsored by legitmtg.com. Legitmtg.com is the place to buy your Magic singles and sealed product. For any order over $2 or more, has free shipping at legitmtg.com. We're coming up with almost 4 years of being sponsored by them in the next 4 to 5 months, I think. And just want to thank them all for putting up with me for that long. So before, or let's just get right into it, right? And here you go. Here is Josh, aka King of Jank. Okay. All right, we're good here. Hey everybody, Zuby here, and I am with Josh, aka King of Jank, and we're doing the inaugural first sort of episode series that I'm going to try to start here. I don't know how often it's going to be done, but I guess we'll call it Commander Deep Dives. I came up with it like 5 seconds before I hit record here. And today we're going to be taking a deep dive into, I think it's both of our favorite commanders, Kruphix, God of Horizons. So I guess to start off with, if you want to introduce yourself and, you know, what you do in Magic, and yeah, let's start from there.
Okay, well, hey everyone, King of Jank, or Josh. I've been around for maybe, I don't know, 2 years. I think it was you that actually brought me into the community, Zuby. I posted on Reddit, like, where can I post content creation stuff? And you were like, fuck Reddit, come to Kitchen Table MTG.
Yeah,
and then from that,
with Laz and all that.
Exactly, and then from that it became Twitter, and then I got introduced to John Dunning, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I noticed that he, his site is still up, because I thought I visited it a couple months ago. Kitchen Table MTG. And that website is a really cool forum. Unfortunately, I don't really post there anymore. It's just I'm terrible at remembering to post on Twitter half the time. But no, I'm glad that Laz is still doing it. I'm surprised it's gone on that long. It's been since 2016 he's had that site up now.
Damn. I know he had like a fun thing for it. I threw in $20 or something. It's kind of a dead form. No offense to Laz. He's done great work, but it's like a couple posts a week.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot more, like when you first joined it, it was a lot more active back then, and then I don't know, it's tough work keeping forums like that alive, because I know I've had forums like that before back in the day when they were a lot more prominent, but with Reddit now and social media, they're kind of antiquated for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah, their time has come. But anyways, not sorry, jumping
Yes,
off on
yeah,
a
sorry about
tangent.
that, Laz. We still love you. But
uh,
so what kind of content do you like to do? I mean, I can sort of assume based on your name.
yeah, so I'm a big fan of Jank. Initially, I was gonna do pack openings. I think like most content creators, they think they're gonna start doing that at least for the most part.
Yeah.
And then that got boring. I moved on to deck techs. They were okay, but janky modern decks. People kind of want competitive stuff. So I'm right now more or less all I do is I make EDH deck techs, but they take a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work, so I don't really throw them out too much. But the big thing I'm doing that I'm getting lots of views on is combo breakdowns. So I take a card that combos with other cards, and I give you a visual description of how it combos, how it interacts with the stacks, how you order stuff to do the combo efficiently. And they're mostly focused on EDH combos. So that's what I've been diving into. I think I have 16 of them, and I have plenty more
Nice.
lined up. But I try to keep them very topical too. So I have one on Urza. I have one on Mycosynth Lattice that came out when Karn, the new Karn, was spoiled that
Yeah.
combo with it. I have Grumgully from Eldraine, Sir Conrad from Eldraine. So if you like that sort of stuff, come check it out because people seem
Nice.
to like it. Um,
Nice. And you're also on you're on another podcast too, aren't you?
yeah, I'm on the Stomping Grounds, which is just a ripoff of Tin Street Hooligans, which yours on. Like I'm not gonna try to cover it up. It's it's kind of just a rip off of you guys. We liked what you guys were doing so much, and but it's fun. It's me, Langalia, JJ or MTG strategist, and Eric or Undying MTG. And yeah, we try to do that every Monday, or
Mm-hmm.
every other Monday. But yeah,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've caught a few episodes of it. It's pretty fun stuff. I like those kind of magic podcasts to where you know, it's not just two people, but sort of like a group of people like that, and you can obviously tell when they're having a good time as well too. Um, it's usually a lot of fun. I feel like we need more of those out there. I mean, the most popular one is what Magic Mike's. I think that
yeah.
has that sort of group format, but I can't think of many others that. I mean, yeah, there's MTG Goldfish, which I think has three people, but
hmm
I don't know. We need more
There's a
live podcasts like that.
Yeah, I mean, the first one that pops to mind is the Merfolk one that Cody does. That's
But
not
isn't it
really a
just
group
him
one.
and another and his co-host?
Yeah, I mean, I stopped listening to it because I used to play him on my drive to work, and then my car radio crapped out.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's him and I think the other guy's name is Matt. I might be wrong, but they were getting guests in regularly, so
Yeah.
it was about three people. But yeah, nothing compared to what like you guys do on Tin Street or Magic Mike's or
Yeah,
yeah,
that's all John Dunning and all that. So
yeah.
it's all him. It's I just show my pretty face there and let it go from there. Um, so I guess let's get started with the topic tonight, taking a
hmm
deep dive into
hmm
Kruphix God of Horizons. Before we start going into both our decks here, let's just first go over the card Kruphix God of Horizons and kind of why we chose it. Like why did we make this our commander? Just to read the card, it is a 3 green and white, green and white, green and blue. Legendary enchantment creature god. It's indestructible. It's a 4/7. It came from Journey into Nyx. As long as your devotion to green and blue is less than 7 Kruphixes in a creature, and devotion was a mechanic mate that basically stated whatever color symbols you have out on the battlefield, that's how much devotion you have, as long as they're uh, uh, permanents out on the battlefield. So
Yeah.
Kruphix, if you just had Kruphix out, you had 2 devotion, you had 1 green and 1 blue out on the
Yeah.
battlefield, and then you'd play either more green and blue creatures to get the devotion to make this a creature. You know, sometimes you always don't want to make Kruphix a creature here because, you know, that can lead to some bad stuff. The other benefits of Kruphix is you have no maximum hand size. And the best part that I feel is if unused mana would empty from your mana pool, that mana becomes colorless instead. So, let's start off with the first question: is what attracted you to build Kruphix as a commander?
So, as you mentioned, Kruphix is my favorite commander. And funny enough, the Kruphix build I have originally started back. I started building it in around 2016. It originally started out as a Rakdos deck, like the Rakdos Lord of Riots, I think it is.
Okay.
Because whenever you deal damage to an opponent, your creatures cost X less depending on how much damage you dealt.
Mm-hmm.
So it was big Eldrazi. You deal some damage and you play them for free, and that it I don't know, it wasn't working out how I wanted it to, and then I stumbled upon Kruphix, who again had that amazing last line attacks where unused mana stays in your mana pool and becomes colorless. So you use them as a battery, right? You just tap your lands at the end of your opponent's upkeeps. You get extra mana, use it on your turn, poop out big creatures. So that's the main reason why I like using Kruphix, is because of that battery. But the other benefit, especially in Commander, is he's an indestructible enchantment. Enchantments are hard enough to get rid of already. But if you make it indestructible as well, like it never leaves the battlefield unless you get targeted specifically for it.
Oh yeah, no, it's sorry, I had to mute my mic real quick because my cat is howling in the background, and I didn't want that to be captured, and you probably saw me yelling at it, so apologies about that. No
problem.
So I'm looking at your deck list here. So this is originally a Rakdos build. It's
well, if you go several iterations back, it started off. Yeah.
So the main idea was to mainly just have Eldrazi, though, right? Because you want to sort of play Eldrazi free, and then with Kruphix, that does kind of make a little bit more sense because you can save up that mana pretty easily with Kruphix and sort of play an Ulamog or an Emrakul for free, kind of sort of in a sense. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and like you said before, you don't really want him to be a creature. So the plus side of playing these big colorless creatures is that he doesn't become a creature because you're not giving him any devotion. As soon as he becomes a creature, well, yeah, he's an indestructible creature. That's nice, but it doesn't stop exile board wraths, path to exile, etc., etc.
Yeah, and I've always felt playing Kruphix where even if he does get exiled or wiped off or anything like that, with how easy it is to ramp with Kruphix, it's usually not that big of a deal if he gets killed one or two times. You're just like, oh, okay, now I got to pay 7 or I got to pay 9. That's pretty easy to take care of. But no, that's cool. It's interesting because I'm looking at both our deck lists here, and they're very similar. My deck list originally started off being more Hydra based, where it was pretty much nothing but Hydras in the beginning. And I remember when Kruphix was first spoiled, back in 2014 when Journey into Nyx came out. That was the only time I'd ever played EDH was just a Zedru deck, or Zedru, however you say it.
Yeah, and, the one that gives people stuff.
Yeah. And so that was sort of my introduction to Commander, and I'm like, it's okay. And then I found this deck, and I'm like, oh, so I can just play big dumb Hydras and swing and win with this? It's awesome.
And I guess around then they were releasing Hydras and Theros. They had like the Broodmaster, which is in your list, and
oh yeah, he's one of my number one best creatures in that list too. I mean, Ulamog and Kozilek and Emrakul, they're all really good, but it's always awesome where I've won a few times with Hydra Broodmaster where I've saved up 20-30 mana and they try to get rid of my Hydra Broodmaster, and I'm like, nope, you can't do it. And then I just get out 20 Hydras and swing and win. It's always an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good finisher in the deck. So you started off Hydra build. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. And then it slowly evolved. And if we look at my list here to start off with, just like you, my deck has gone through many iterations of just differences. Like, start off Hydras. I wish I had other lists, because I used to keep different versions of the list a long time ago, but I think I got rid of all that. But I've always tried to maintain a control-y aspect of it, because I've always, every time I play Kruphix, and especially with my group of friends, it's most of the time they'll ignore me, because Kruphix on the surface isn't a very threatening commander, in my opinion, because there's a lot, especially nowadays, there's a lot more threatening commanders, like, oh, someone plays an Atraxa or Animar or Nekosar, it's like, okay, they're kind of enemy number one. Kruphix, it's just Simic, no big deal. It's not like it's you have that creature in your deck, where is it? Oh, yeah, Rashmi. Rashmi can get ridiculous as a commander.
Exactly, or Vanifar. Or
Vanifar, too, yeah.
Yep.
But so that's one of the things I really like about Kruphix, because he can be unassuming, depending on how you build it.
No, that's exactly right. And I don't want to shit on him, because he's my favorite, but he hits the board, and that first turn you play him, he doesn't really do anything. Even the second turn you play him, he does, or the second turn after you have him, he doesn't really do anything. It's a slow burn that people just forget about after someone plays like a Smothering Tithe or something on their fourth turn, something that's gonna make them the target. And that's how you slowly creep up to them until bam, you drop your Emrakul or your Giant Broodmaster or whatever,
Yeah, for sure. So I guess one of the questions I want to ask you is, so when you look at our list here, you can definitely tell mine's a little bit more control-y here.
Yes.
How would you describe your kind of list here with yours?
So mine is, I noticed that yours does have a lot of counter spells, and I purposely tried to avoid it in mine, because when Kruphix, sorry, I'm going to backtrack a bit to why I built Kruphix, if that's cool. As I said, it started off as a Rakdos Eldrazi deck, and then my initial build for Kruphix was also Eldrazi Tribal. It had buffs to colorless creatures and whatnot. But I really wanted to combine the aggressiveness of green with the non-control part of blue, which are kind of just randomness. You get to draw cards, and you just do wacky things, as look at most Simic cards are bizarre. And that's why I want to encompass in my deck. That it's really kind of a alpha strike deck, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Where I do nothing, maybe interact with the opponents a little, but I'm mostly just building lands, not being a threat until I can tutor up and drop a massive, or tutor up and drop a Craterhoof Behemoth and make all my mana dorks lethal, right? Or just hold on to a big Eldrazi, drop it at the right time when everyone else has been brawling out and they're out of resources. Or I'll go over a combo in my deck right now. There's enter the infinite, where you draw your whole deck and then put one card on top of your deck, and then you drop Lab Man and draw 2 cards. You win the game. So it's kind of just doing nothing in a fun way, not like a control-y way, but doing nothing until you win in a turn or two.
Okay. No, that's interesting. I like that. It's sort of like you described, sort of like an explosion right now, where yours definitely seems more unassuming, where it sort of feels like it wins almost out of nowhere in a sense.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you do have a Cyclonic Rift, which, one of the best blue cards in EDH, which is really good. So you help reset the board. One question I had that I guess I have about the deck, where I'm not really 100% on, would be your Planeswalker, Nissa, Steward of Elements. How have you found that to be good for you?
So if we're being 100% honest, Nissa was a gift from a friend in my old play group, and didn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, so I threw it in the deck to make them happy.
Okay. Not that she's the worst Planeswalker, it was just an interesting choice, because it's, knowing there's better Nissas out there, and, you know.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of planeswalkers in general. In EDH, I they do warp the game, but when you're against three other people, I just find that they can get taken out if they're too much of a threat.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, for what Nissa does, I never use her ultimate of making two lands into creatures.
Yeah.
But she's unassuming, which kind of fits in nice. You plus two her to scry,
Yeah.
try to set up more of that win, and if you play her big enough, well, you can zero her and maybe flip into something nice. But yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
on when I do make revisions in the deck, which is very rare, she's definitely on the short list of being cut.
That's true. That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at my list, obviously the only planeswalker I have is Ugin the Spirit Dragon.
Which is a very strong planeswalker.
Yeah, and you're right. Most of the time when he gets played, he'll die immediately. But it's just like, as I said, it's very control-y for me to where I'm just going to wipe the board clean again. I mean, as long as I'm not playing against another player who's playing nothing but colorless, creatures and all that, it's usually really, really good for me for a board wipe. And it's very rare that I ever get to ult Ugin because that's not what he's really made for, is for ulting. I mean, it's awesome if you can do it, but, it's not meant for that. But, one other thing I wanted to ask you is, so you mentioned you haven't made a lot of changes. What has been some of the cards you've put in from some recent sets that you found that have fit really well with Kruphix lately?
So, not a lot. I was going to ask you the same question. I have this terrible, terrible way that whenever a new set comes out, I want to jam all these new cards into my decks,
Yep.
and I mean, I was doing it with another one of my EDH decks, and eventually the deck kind of becomes unplayable because you lose synergies just for novelty, and you just so I've been really, really restrictive on myself on what I put in Kruphix because for the longest time it was unbeatable in my play group. People could not bring it down. That's not me boasting, but it had a really good win streak on it. So I've been very picky about stuff. One that I did put in was Finale of Devastation from War of the Spark, which is a sorcery speed, what's it called? A sorcery speed Chord of Calling. So for everyone listening, it's 2 green and X. You search your library and or graveyard for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If X is 10 or more, creatures you control get plus X and gain haste until end of turn. So it's kind of like a Chord of Calling mixed with a Crater Hoof.
Yeah, that's actually really, really good. So what do you normally get when you play that? What's the sort of go-to creature that you always pick if you manage to get it 10 or more?
10 or more, it's probably going to be the Crater Hoof because then you get that stacked buff.
True, yeah. Oh, damn, that's disgusting.
Plus 10, yeah, and then the plus X plus X of creatures you control. And then the Crater Hook gives them all trample. The Finale Devastation gives the haste. I try not to grab the Eldrazi's off these tutors, generally, unless I just want a beat stick, because a lot of their ETBs, but not really, are on cast, not entering, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get to destroy stuff with their Ulamogs, or you don't get to take their turn with the Emrakul, etc. How about you? What have you put in from recent sets?
So let me look at my list here. Recent sets, Wilderness Reclamation was a big one.
Yeah,
because I love that. Just being able to sense being more control, just giving the sense of, having my enemies think, okay, he's got so much blue up right now, he's gonna counter, and I mean, plus Seedborn Muse is such a huge target when I do play it. So I feel Wilderness Reclamation, while it's not as good as Seedborn Muse, it's still, it's like a step down for me, being as good. So it's Wilderness Reclamation. God, what else? Has there been anything else? I know I finally got Omniscience in there. That's a reprint, so I don't really count that. It was nice to finally put it in there because it was a lot cheaper when it
Yeah.
got reprinted.
Yeah. That's a card I should have jumped on, but I didn't.
It's definitely worth it, and if you do manage to play it, I usually, when I do get to play that card, I try not to dump my entire hand out
Hmm.
because I just don't like doing that. I'll play the really good cards, obviously, but not the ones where I still want to make them think, oh crap, he's still got something he's holding back, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's really just Wilderness Reclamation, and I'm not seeing anything else.
No, I'm just cruising through your list right
Oh,
now.
oh,
Oh, I guess the
Frilled Mystic was another one that,
oh
yeah, because she replaced what was it, that one snake. Well, no. I didn't have that snake in there. That one rare snake that basically does the same thing. Um,
oh the yeah, yeah.
this was just a lot cheaper of a replacement, and it's just as good for me too.
Mm-hmm.
To get it in there. But I think that about does it. I
I,
Yeah.
oh, I was just gonna say the Hydroid Crisis too.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's in there too. Duh. Yeah, the Hydroid crisis, that to me, like I said, it's sort of a callback for me to when my deck was originally all Hydras, and plus
Mm-hmm.
that to me, I still consider Hydra Broodmaster better, but I know on paper Hydroid crisis probably is technically better since it gives
Mm-hmm.
life and draws cards. Um, so yeah, that's why I have him in there too, just for the gain life, especially the draw cards.
Oh, it's a fantastic card. Like if I had one, I'm not gonna go out and buy it for $22 it's popping up as. But if I had it, I would definitely fit it into my build. Because yeah, the gaining life and but more importantly the drawing cards and you get a flyer out of it is fantastic.
Oh, and I forgot another one. Incubation Druid was another one. That one actually, Incubation Druid replaced oh my, I forget the name of it, but it does something. So Incubation Druid, when it's adapted, it adds 3 mana of a color of a land you control that could be produced. But it replaced a creature that you would tap it, and it adds 3 mana, but only for creature spells. I cannot think of
Oh,
the name of it at all. Do you know which one I'm talking
um,
about?
it added 3 mana?
Yeah, it added 3 mana, but could only be used for creature spells. So,
No, I know Shaman of Forgotten Ways, but that's only 2 mana.
yeah, so that replaced or Incubation Druid replaced that card. I really can't remember the name of that card right now. I'll have to think of it later.
I guess that brings up a good point though for anyone that wants to try out Kruphix is that if there is restriction on the mana you tap
Hmm.
when it turns colorless, it still has that restriction.
Yes, that's a very
Yeah.
good point to put in there. Um, so has there been any cards like, so you last added something in War of the Spark? Has there been anything in M20 or even Throne of Eldraine that you've been thinking about adding or testing out, or even
Uh,
Modern Horizons too, if there's anything in there?
yeah. I'll be honest, I wasn't around for M20. I was in the middle of a big move, so I'm still not familiar with what's in that set. Um, but for Throne of Eldraine, not really. Nothing's popping to mind. Modern Horizons is has a card that I think I would like to try out if I built my deck differently.
Hmm.
But I'm sure you would like it with the not the Hydroids, the Hydras. Is what's it called? Unbound Flourishing or something?
Unbound Flourishing. That sounds
It,
familiar. Yeah,
it
Unbound Flourishing. It is a 2 and a green enchantment mythic. Whenever you cast a permanent spell with a mana cost that contains X, double the value of X. Whenever
yeah.
you cast an instant or sorcery spell or activate an ability, if that spell's mana cost or that blah 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 contains X, copy that spell or ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Ooh, damn. Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I pulled a single one of those out of my Modern Horizon boxes.
Yeah, it's like doubling season, but for X cost stuff.
Yeah. Ooh,
So
shit. That might be pretty cool to try out because I also have Genesis Wave in my deck as well too.
oh shit, that's yeah.
A Genesis Wave, in case people don't know, it's an X triple green sorcery. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put on the battlefield into your graveyard. Which, that's not the biggest deal for something like my deck, especially because I have, Recollect or Seasons Past or even Praetor's Council, which can get everything back from my graveyard into my hand. So it's not the worst thing. That's pretty cool. I may have to look into that one.
Pull from Tomorrow in your deck too. Draw X cards and discard a card.
Oh yeah, Pull from Tomorrow. That I used to have the Blue Sun Zenith.
Yeah,
in my
that's
deck,
what I run in mine.
Which I like that. It's just the discarding a card isn't the worst thing. I know technically Blue Sun is better, but just with the mana cost is just one extra blue, I think. It's just, I like the ability where I can pay one less and draw as many cards and maybe get rid of a crap land that I don't need.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the thing I will point out with Blue Sun, like you said, it might be overall a better card, and a very niche ability, but it does say you make target player draw a card. So if for whatever reason you have enough mana, you could potentially mill someone out. It's a dumb way. It's not a good reason to have it over.
Yeah, I like that though. I mean, I think I've done that before. I don't know with Kruphix, but I know I've done it with another commander. I think I did that with my Nekusar deck I had one time because it's want to kill them quickly.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your favorite card in your deck?
Oh, that's hard, man. That is hard.
Asking all the hard questions here.
Yeah, putting me on the spotlight. Honestly, there's lots of cards, and people probably think, oh, it's going to be Craterhoof, or oh, it's going to be Ulamog or something like that. But there are some weird cards that I love in the deck. Nissa's Revelation. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's a card that is a bulk rare. I don't think I've ever seen it played in any deck, but you scry 5 and then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you draw cards equal to its power, and you gain life equal to its toughness for 5 and 2 green.
That's not bad.
So, no, and it's the randomness. Like when I play Commander, I wanna have fun. So I'll Nissa Revelation scry 5. If I get something like an Ulamog, I gain 10 life, draw 10 cards.
So do you like that more? You mentioned you like the randomness. So do you tend to stray away from tutors?
Yeah, so I do have the tutors in here. Like I have Court of Calling and Finale of Devastation.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy just the randomness. Like another example is in my deck, I'm running Levitation, which is just 2 and 2 blue. Creatures you control have flying. There's clearly a much better one, the one you're running, Archetype of Imagination. It's the enchantment creature. Creatures you get have flying. Your opponent's creatures lose flying. Yeah. I have a stack of them, and at any time I want, I could switch it out. But I just like playing Levitation and having everyone else in the pod go like, "What the fuck?" Like, but yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Another fun one is Jace's Archivist. 2 blue and 1. Pay a blue and tap
the
it.
wheeling one.
Yeah, each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to greatest number discarded this way. Just making everyone wheel, especially when I have nothing and I'm just churning through my deck looking for stuff. It just messes with people. It doesn't really progress the game in a sense, but it definitely changes dynamics quickly.
Yeah, it is interesting because you don't really see, at least in my experience, too many wheels with Kruphix. I mean, like, I know you could build a wheelie kind of deck with Kruphix and, try to do like a self-mill deck and all that. Just sort of like how you have sort of that self-mill combo with Enter the Infinite and Lab Maniac. But it's interesting to see something like that because typically that's more seen in something like Nekusar, especially.
Yeah, something that isn't a green deck. Like it's and Psychosis Crawler is power and toughness equal number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. So that can finish off the game with Enter the Infinite as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Jesus.
yeah, so there's a bunch of these really weird cards in here that people are like, why is that in there?
Mm-hmm.
But they work, and that's what I like about Kruphix, but EDH in general. You can build a deck in any way with jank cards. Someone will look down on you, but it doesn't matter because it works if you have the right supporting cards.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
It's and that's one of the things I love about EDH. You know, a friend of mine long time ago once described it as like a sandbox for Magic.
mhm.
Where I mean, yeah, you can definitely play EDH to where you play nothing but good cards, but just like you said, there's those jank rares like Nissa's Revelation, which never ever saw any play ever besides maybe in a booster draft, and that was
Yeah.
only because they had nothing better to play in their booster pick, and you know it can find a home in something like Kruphix, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
and that's one of my favorite things about it too. The Some of my favorite cards that I have in
Yeah, let's hear
my
'em.
deck. Obviously, I mentioned one earlier, Hydra Broodmaster, because I
Mhm.
just love the effect of just pooping out, 30 Hydra tokens out on the field, and just people just like, yeah, okay, I give up. Or they're gonna try to be sneaky and be like, oh no, board wipe, and I just tell them no, sorry, that's not gonna happen. Um,
Yeah. I for some reason I thought the Broodmaster only made 2 tokens.
oh no,
That
no, no, it's
that
X tokens.
yeah, that I have a playset of them. I might try to run that.
It's definitely fun when you can get it off. And um the some of my other favorite cards, let's see here. I've always Let's see, Seasons Pass is always a really fun one. Just because it's like you said, I don't mind if I get wheeled out, or if I want to recover maybe a Cyclonic Rift again, or maybe a
Hmm.
Mystic Confluence or something like that. I like playing that. Planar Bridge is always a fun one, if I can get it out early enough and people just start getting sad because I may get like a turn 7 or a turn 6 Ugin, and they're just sad because they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that when Planar Bridge was released, I'm like that would be a card to fit into Kruphix perfectly.
Oh
And
yeah.
I guess it was kind of up in price. I'm in this weird transition stage where I just finished being a university student and I have a real job.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years ago, I looked at planar bridge. I'm like $6. I can't afford that for a piece of cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh, $6. That's not bad at
That's
all.
cheap.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I know
sorry.
I know exactly what you mean. It's even though I'm getting away from paper Magic more and more, pretty much all I play is just EDH and Cube on paper.
Mhm.
Um, and maybe once in a while Pauper, but I got to rebuild my Pauper decks because now they've banned so many cards since I've last played, like Gush and Gataxian Probe, and I'm so sad about that. Um, but it's I don't mind spending a little bit of money on some certain cards. As you can tell, I'm looking at both of our lists. It's You can definitely tell land is not a big priority for us for our mana bases
No, not at
because
all.
it's yeah. I mean, I know I could put in some fetch lands and some maybe better duels and some shock lands and all that, and maybe save up for a tropical island. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna bother at all with
Well,
it.
saving up for a tropical island, that's intense.
Yeah, but it's like I don't want to. I don't want to spend that much money on it. It's
Yeah.
like the last time I spent a lot of money on lands was my playset of Gaia's Cradles, but that was before all the lands and Legacy like blew up in price. That was like 3-4 years ago.
Gee, do you still have them?
Yeah, yeah, I still got them, and I'm
Nice.
kind of. I mean, I know I could sell them right now, make a good profit, but no, those are kind of cards that I don't know if I'll ever sell. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
because I'll probably never get them again if I sell them.
No, exactly.
No, but so we talked about what kind of new cards have come out with
Hmm.
that we're sort of interested in. Yeah, I do have to agree. Throne of Eldraine. Let me just pull up Throne of Eldraine here again real quick, because it's the newest hot set right now. Let me just quickly go over, because I don't think I remember seeing anything. There actually was one card that I thought did look interesting, where you're sort of playing the Lab Maniac sort of combo. Where is it? It's that one blue artifact to where you make everybody draw cards.
Oh, the book.
The Folio of Fancies. Players have no maximum hand size. You can pay double X. Each player draws X cards. Pay 2 and a blue. Each opponent puts a number of cards equal to number of cards in their hand from the top of their library into their graveyard. So that would almost, so for something like you, that almost seems, because you have the wheel with Jace's Archivist.
Yeah.
And that would almost be, instead of maybe just making them wheel their hand, they're just going to be like, no, I'm going to make your, so each opponent puts a number of cards, equal number of cards in their hand from the top of their library into their graveyard. You just make them throw away cards from their library too.
Yeah.
So you could make them draw a shit ton of cards, or maybe you target just one person, right? But you don't have enough to make them draw out their entire library. But then, maybe on the next turn or something, you just pay the 2 and a blue, and boom, you make them mill out the rest of their library.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that card. That's a nice idea. I might need to check that out.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just looking at Throne of Eldraine right now, there's actually some cards that now that we're talking about it, Gadwick the Wizened.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at that one too.
Yeah, I mean nothing insane, but it's a 3/3 with Blue Sun Zenith attached. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and the Magic Mirror is also cool. And I think this would probably fit more with my deck. I mean, this would still fit with your deck, but especially since I have a lot more instants and sorceries. So the Magic Mirror, where the spell costs 1 less for each instant sorcery card in your graveyard, but then, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a knowledge counter on it, then draw a card for each knowledge counter on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's pretty good. Let's see here.
Yeah, I guess the thing about Kruphix is you're not really concerned about the less cost. So even if you have to, it's doubtful, but if you have to pay the 3 blue and 6, if it's not reduced at all, you're still going to get the value. That's not a big cost for you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the green cards now, see if I find anything here. I mean, the Great Henge. The Great Henge. Actually, no, I don't think the Great Henge would fit with a deck like this. The Great Henge would fit more with a heavier creature deck, if you're, at least in my opinion, because not that, we both play a good amount of creatures. Well, you play more creatures than I do.
Yeah.
And the gain life is good, but in a +1/+1 counter and draw a card, that's not the worst thing. I don't know. I think for my deck, I think I'd rather play a different artifact than something like that, than the Great Henge. What do you think?
I can see it fitting in my deck because I have 30. I think I have 34
compared to,
and you have 24.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah. But I don't know. Just looking at it, I think I wouldn't try to force it in. If you have enough creatures, or if you have a big enough creature to get the cost down lower, not that it matters, like we just discussed, you probably don't need that 2 green mana. And so what? Your Eldrazi gets a +1/+1 counter, and you draw a card off it. It's okay, but I'm not gonna try to fit it into my deck again just because it's new,
Yeah, I had a thought for an instant here, then realized it wasn't as good. I was thinking if I were to try to put it in here, I'd replace Frontier Siege, because with Frontier Siege I always choose cons, but Frontier Siege is going to net me more mana in the long run.
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing with Frontier Siege when I read the 2 green, that you get an enchantment, cost 4, you get your 4 green mana a turn, which is fantastic. And then in a very niche situation, which I've done before, if your creatures have flying because of Archetype of Imagination or Levitation, you can choose the other option and have them fight something when they come in. Very stupid, niche.
You know
But
what? I never, ever, ever thought of that. And I've had Frontier Siege and Archetype of Imagination in my deck forever. And I never thought of, because to me it's like I always want to choose cons because I want to save that mana up for something really big and dumb.
yeah,
But yeah, that does make sense. If I were to get Archetype of Imagination out, then choose dragons. Yeah, just start picking off people's creatures one by one. That'd be awesome.
yeah, it's kind of like I guess where my deck lacks, where I think yours is much better, and is I have a lot of dead draws late game because I'm running the mana dorks, and Frontier Siege falls into that. Where late game, if I draw it, it's dead. But if I do have Levitation or some other stupid card out,
Yeah, that's true.
um, yeah, I can do the fighting choice.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I like that. The only other green cards I see here, just completely mono green cards that would even be decent in Kruphix that I would at least consider putting in, would be Once Upon a Time, which is that
yeah,
card. So far, playing it in Arena lately, is that card's just been ridiculous. That card's gonna see play in every format.
it's yeah, it's
The
yep.
fact
I
that you
don't.
can play it for free. I mean, that's actually, that would be the kind of card I would keep in a hand where, maybe I only have 3 lands and all my other cards are pretty crap, but I've got the Once Upon a Time at least, so I can play
Mhm.
that on my first turn just to see, okay, maybe I can do something with this hand. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, and the only other card I was gonna say was, it looks like Return of the Wild Speaker 2
Hmm.
would be the only one, and I would choose the top one. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control.
Yep. Yep. I would just kind of comment on Once Upon a Time. Little side note. Um, everyone that, and even I was thinking that it could be a turn one play. If you don't play anything for your first 2 turns, you can still play that turn three for
Hmm.
free if you haven't cast something else, which doesn't seem that mind blowing. But when I saw someone do it in an arena video recently, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't, yeah,
And that card is, to me, I wouldn't be surprised if that card replaces Ancient Stirrings and Tron
in Tron,
in
yeah.
Modern. But I don't want to get into Tron here because
No,
everyone will just start saying fuck Tron, and
you're running an Ugin in your deck, Zuby.
I
I almost
know.
called you Kruphix there, Jesus.
And it's funny because I actually used to have the Urza lands in my deck at first.
Oh yeah,
Um, but I got rid of them because it was so rare that I would ever get all 3 of them out, and just
yeah.
they were kind of dead cards. So I replaced them with forests and islands instead.
The real EDH cards.
Yeah. Looking at the multicolored cards, I mean, the Simic card Marleaf Pixie is another mana dork that, you know, I could see putting it in there if you want a mana dork. Maybe you don't want just an Elvish Mystic or a Llanowar Elf. Maybe you want something to give blue or green to help you
Hmm.
out with some color fixing. The
Yeah,
Oko Thief of Crowns.
I I was gonna ask what are your thoughts on him? Would you put, if you packed him or for whatever reason you got a hold of one, would you put him in your Kruphix deck?
No, because I don't see him being very useful for me. Um,
Y-
it's the I mean, the +1 where target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature. That is probably the most useful ability he has in my Kruphix deck. Because I could have other people's artifacts or creatures become that, you
Mhm.
know. But other than that, I don't think I'd waste a spot for him. What do you think?
I mean, what the +1 is, like you said, the only good part about him, but it's a commander killer. That's what people are, I guess, are happy about it, is that you turn their commander um, into a 3/3 elk that they would have to then chump block to get it back to the command zone, or sack it or what have
That's
you.
true. I didn't think of that. Yeah, I mean that's very true. Where, I can't argue against that. It's
Yeah. But I guess the final answer, would I try to stuff this in my deck? Maybe I would replace Nissa with it to try it out. But I think I would much rather sell it for the $25 or whatever it's going for right now.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, so far not to try to get too deep into standard right now, but just playing him in standard, it's ridiculous how good he is. And I remember first seeing the card, I'm like, yeah, it's not going to be that good.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, the +1 is the best part, but I thought food tokens were going to be complete crap, and I'm finding myself to be completely wrong on it, just like I am with everything.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. I was there with you. I'm like, food tokens. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But just having them at pre-release, I hated them. Jesus.
Oh, really?
Who would have thought?
I unfortunately I didn't get to go to pre-release, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry
I had
about
to
that.
No, I had to work. It was actually my fault. I had to work because I made myself go to work on Saturday because I had some stuff to do because I'm going on vacation soon and I'm trying to get as much stuff done at work before I go on vacation. So it's my fault.
Yeah, well, miss a pre-release, go on vacation. It's a pretty good trade.
Yeah, not the worst thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the brawl only cards now in Throne of Eldraine. I mean, there's this Steelbane Hydra,
Which is a very nice card.
yeah, and I love like how it's a turtle Hydra. I love turtles and I love Hydras, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, besides Arcane Signet, I mean that's just a given.
Yep.
I can't believe it's a $30 card, which is ridiculous.
It's absolutely nuts, but completely expected in where EDH is right now, and the limit, how limited the brawl decks are going to be. Even if they print more of them a second run, this card is not going down to anywhere close to what other mana rocks are in EDH.
I know, and I know we're supposed to be focusing on Kruphix, but I cannot wait to buy the Chulane deck because it's and I've been wanting to build Bant for a long time, but I'm not a big fan of Derevi or any of the other popular Bant commanders because to me they're just kind of Chulane is exactly the kind of deck I want to build. Draw cards, play big dumb creatures, and ramp up.
Yeah. Sounds like you should just be playing your Kruphix deck.
I know, right? Well, I know, but at least I have some white though.
Now. Yeah, it's true. It's hard to argue with that. Yeah, I'm just looking at the brawl decks now. I finally found them. Yeah, there's not a whole lot, eh?
Not really. You can make an argument for the blue fairy, the fairy formation, where you can at least create a fairy, a chump blocker and draw a card. I could see that being a contender for Kruphix, but the other two blue cards, I wouldn't put it in Kruphix at all, not unless I was having a heavy artifact theme with it.
Yeah.
And then Steelbane Hydra. I mean, Thorn Mammoth isn't the worst, but I'd rather have Steelbane Hydra for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a Thorn Mammoth and had flex spots in your Kruphix deck, sure, try it out. But I'm not putting it in, and I doubt you will either.
For sure. So, speaking of Kruphix here, let's talk about a little bit of some other commanders. What do you feel are some of the better matchups for you? Like what commanders are good matchups for you, and what commanders do you just dread going up against as Kruphix that you can think of? And maybe it's just in your group or stuff you played on Magic Online or what have you.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. That's a very good question. I'm just trying to think of my old play group because I recently because I moved, I got a new play group. My old play group, I hated. I hate group hug decks in general. So there was the 4-color, the Kings of Theros. I forget.
Theros.
Yeah, maybe that's just the name that the girl that played it called them. It was a blue, white, red, and green commander from 2017.
Is that the Kinos and Tiro?
That's it.
Of that one? Oh, I had a group hug deck of them before, but it was literally it wasn't a stacks group hug deck where you couldn't attack me. It was just I was letting everybody draw, and people could kill me if they wanted to, but I'd help them out. I'd help everybody out too much.
Yeah, yeah. This was a mix of stacks and helping everyone out, besides people that were in the lead, and it was just a nightmare. But there was specifically a card in there against my Kruphix deck. I forget what exactly it did, but it had something to do with um, mana in my mana pool, or maybe the converted mana cost of a creature. But it outright killed me a few games,
Oh
like
shit.
not in a row, but I forget the card exactly. I'm not being a very good guest here,
Oh no, you're
but
fine.
it was something where when she played it, it was just like, fuck, I'm dead. I think it had something to do with mana in my mana pool, or
Would it
I'm
do
not
like
sure.
some sort of mana burn to you or something?
Yeah, something like that, and I might be completely off off keel
Yeah, I'm curious what
with
that
that.
card is because I'll have to avoid it if I ever see it.
Yeah, but it was something to do where she put it in there specifically for Kruphix, and it got me a few times. Um, for whatever reason it was, I forget. Um, but yeah, other decks. Not a big fan of rune decks. Uh,
Oh, Rune, that's the other Bant commander, the
yeah,
Rhino
the other,
one.
yeah, the Rhino one, because they can kind of just disrupt your board, find ways to mess with Kruphix, even though he's an enchantment. Um, Yeah. How about you? I can't think of any. Maybe you talking about some decks will trigger my memory.
Well, I just think of the decks that my friends like to play. Um, I mentioned Nekasar a lot. I hate Nekasar. Even though I used to have a Nekasar deck, I took it apart because it just felt too plain. Like it felt just too like a one trick pony show. Just wheeling out. So instead, I built a Nicobolas Thief deck where I play
Ooh,
your deck instead. Uh,
that sounds fun.
but so I really don't like Nekasar. I hate Animar. Oh my god, I hate playing against Animar. Animar just can get ridiculous so quickly if they really built the deck well.
Hmm.
Because as you know, with Animar, every time you cast a creature spell, it gets a 1/1 counter, but then creature spells get cheaper for each 1/1 counter Animar has. So at
Yep.
that point, they're just playing creatures for free, and then they can do infinite combos with Palancron and the other Drake. I
Uh,
can't remember the other.
oh, Peregrine
Yeah,
Drake?
yeah, Peregrine Drake, and then
Yeah.
you're just like, well, shit, I don't have any counter spells or anything like that, and I'm just basically dead.
Yeah.
So I'll usually tell my friend like, yeah, do you have the kill? Because I'm dead. Like I
Yeah.
have no counters at all. And oh god, let me just take a look at some of the top commanders just of the past 2 years. I mean, Atraxa is, especially if they're playing Super Friends Atraxa, I'm just like the most annoying thing ever because
Yeah.
they'll either play Atraxa Super Friends or Atraxa Infect, and just like, oh, you're so original, awesome.
Yeah. You're right up there.
Yeah, and then usually like super aggressive decks can sometimes just completely wipe me out. Like if anyone's playing like um Cranko or I know there's other aggressive commander like Edgar Markov is another one that's a
Yeah,
super
that's
aggressive one. They can just completely wipe me out where I'm a little bit too slow
hmm.
to be able to wipe him out if I don't get enough lucky ramp or draws or anything like that.
Yeah, you did trigger my memory on one. I would not have good experiences with the Dragon or anything similar with that.
Oh, the five
Where
color one?
the five color one, but really it just any that deck that has big dumb flyers. Um, I it doesn't matter how big my Eldrazi were if I didn't have levitation out. I couldn't block them right, so
Yeah.
I would just die from stupid flying dragons or flying whatever. Flyers were a deck I struggled against.
Yeah, I've noticed most decks, at least for me, is if they're aggressively fast, I'm gonna have problems with them.
Yeah.
If I Because if I'm lucky and able to get enough ramp out quickly, then I'll usually have a better time. Like if I'm able to do like a turn 3 Kruphix and they're playing aggressive, then I'll have a better chance of trying to come up with some sort of
Hmm.
plan to put a stop to them. Another deck that I really hate playing against is Kali of the Vast,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where Kalia just gets out of control because you can play Kalia really quickly if they have mana rocks.
Hmm.
And then it's just, oh, they just start pooping out angel demons or dragons pretty quickly, and you're like, oh shit, I can't do anything about it
Yeah,
because
that's
it just gets too ridiculous at that point.
yeah. There was a Kalia deck in my old play group that came up around the time I was leaving. I only played against it maybe a handful of times, and it's a good commander. It's a good commander, and it's gross. But what you were saying is, yeah, aggressive decks really do hurt Kruphix, which is saying something because Kruphix is quite a quick deck with the right draws. Like
Oh yeah.
turn three, Kruphix is not an uncommon play. And in really rare instances, I've gotten a turn two Kruphix.
Damn. How'd you manage that?
It's usually something stupid where it's like Forest into Soul Ring into a Signet, or like I have a Soul Ring and a Mana Crypt in my opening hand at the set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, that's just ridiculous right there.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
okay, yeah, I forgot you have Mana Crypt. That's still one card. Holy shit, it's still like $200.
yeah.
Did,
So,
did you manage to
oh,
pull one out of Eternal Masters?
that's what I was gonna do a story going back when I was deciding between Rakdos and Kruphix. I was actually away from work and I was working in a remote area, where we had very basic internet. It was like very basic Google, like Gmail, but not the fancy Gmail you see when you log in. It was like the
Yeah.
basic HTML Gmail. Um, so I remember when I finally decided to choose Kruphix, I didn't have one, and I sent an email to my friend. This is supposed to be like contacting loved ones and emergency situations. I just send this
Yeah.
basic email like, "Buy Kruphix, I'll pay you back." And yeah, and then I came back from work, after a few months back to my town, and my buddy got me a Kruphix, and he also bought each of us 5 Eternal Master packs, because that was the summer they came out. And then I pulled a Mana Crypt in one of them, and it's like, I don't know if there's a god, but if there is, he wants me to put this into my Kruphix deck. So
That's awesome. Yeah, it's I can't even remember. I think I only pulled a few Eternal Master packs. I don't even remember what I got. I probably sold it right away. Um, speaking of commanders that I hate playing against, this is a recent. It's the commander's been out, I think, for a year now, but
mhm.
it's something that I've just recently played against on Magic Online. That's Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow. Have you ever played against
Oh,
that
I
commander?
haven't played against it, but again, old play group. When I left, someone just made it. I never saw how it went, but
It is stupid. Oh my god, it's stupid. It's basically it's again, it's like a hyper aggressive deck, and then they just play a bunch of ninjas that just pretty much just pick your hand apart or just kill you, and you know, just
yeah,
all around ridiculousness and like unblockable creatures and stuff like that. It's hard to take care of. Board wipes definitely help, but like I
mm,
said, if you have that slow hand, you're gonna just be done at that point.
yeah, yeah. They play a lot of extra turns in that deck
Yeah,
as well,
that
don't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before. It's so I guess sort of getting near the end of this here.
Hmm.
Um, how would you convince someone to try out Kruphix? Like if they were, not really sure what commander to pick, or they've just never wanted to try Kruphix. Like what would you tell them? Hey, this is why you should play Kruphix.
Well, honestly, I'd probably tell them not to play Kruphix because I want to be the only one playing Kruphix. Like shockingly, when we went on the EDH Rec tonight, just before we started, Kruphix is a third most played Simic commander.
Hmm.
I didn't see that coming because I've only ever seen one other Kruphix deck in all my times of playing EDH.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
only speaking of that, in paper, I think I've only ever seen one other Kruphix player. On Magic Online, I definitely see a lot more Kruphix players on Magic Online.
Yeah.
But
I
they're usually, about the same. Play big dumb Eldrazi for the most part.
yeah, nothing unique going on with
Yeah.
him. Yeah. But yeah, he's more played than, I mean, barely, but more played than Edric, Spymaster.
Yeah, more played than
And-
Rashmi too, because Rashmi, I almost feel just on paper is the better commander than Kruphix, because Rashmi can get out of hand quickly,
yeah,
and that the times that I've played against Rashmi, it's can go really ridiculous sometimes.
yeah, yeah. She's that's a Cascade one, right?
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card or a converted mana cost less than that spell, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast the revealed card, put it into your hand.
Yeah.
So it's just helping you dig through your deck pretty quickly.
Yeah. And yeah, more played than Kumena, which I thought would be, people like their fish. I don't get the hype with merfolk, but people like it.
Yeah.
Um,
Apparently some real popular people in the Magic community like merfolk, and I've just always been like, they're not as good as elves.
yeah, they're not.
Like, if I'm gonna pick a
Not.
tribe, I'll pick elves, because
There's
my elf deck, my Rise the Redeemed deck, that's definitely my go-to tribal elf deck right there,
right. Oh yeah,
where I just
He-
poop out so many tokens.
that's a green white one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, he just poops tokens out like crazy. Yeah, so that is pretty surprising. I'm also a little bit surprised that Experiment Kraj isn't higher up on the list either.
Yeah.
I have seen some stupid, ridiculous Experiment Kraj decks before that even playing as Kruphix I cannot deal with.
Yeah. No, Experiment Craj is that's a very good point. You can do some stupid shit with Experiment Craj, including, I'm not sure if you can do it in green blue efficiently, but if you have other colors, you can use him as a secondary planeswalker in some cases. Like if you have a planeswalker
yeah, that's
out,
true. That's true. Yeah.
yeah. If you have a planeswalker out, you turn it into a creature and then put a counter on it, you can start making Experiment Craj use that planeswalker's loyalty abilities. Again, very niche, but if I had one, I'd probably be trying to do stupid shit like that.
Yeah, I remember the first time playing Kruphix and then playing against Experiment Kraj, they played because they knew I was more of a control deck. They play Horseshoe Crab, which is just a 2 and a blue crab creature where you pay 1 blue, untap Horseshoe Crab. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not that big a deal. It's Experiment Kraj, whatever. I don't care. And then right after that, I think the next turn they play Thornling, which is the 3 double green, elemental shapeshifter. It's a 4/4, and you basically pump it up and do all this stuff. And
Yeah.
they, oh god, there was another. I don't remember another creature they played, but they essentially had an infinite mana combo, and they had another creature too that just, I don't remember, but they basically had an infinite mana combo and was able to kill everybody on that turn. And I didn't realize that Horseshoe Crab was part of that combo to get infinite mana, and I'm like, wait, what? This is stupid.
Well, you could do that with Incubation Druid. Going back to that.
Oh yeah, yeah. With that, yeah. This is before Ravnica Allegiance out. So yeah, you could do that now with Incubation Druid. Yeah. So like I said, I'm surprised that's not up higher. But so you would basically tell someone not to play Kruphix because you don't want them to.
Sorry, back on track.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, no, I got to be honest. I want to spread the love of Kruphix, be the prophet of Kruphix. Rest in peace, prophet of Kruphix. I don't know. I think Kruphix embodies everything that you want to do in green blue. You have no maximum hand size, so you get to draw your cards. You have a shit ton of mana to do whatever you want, and then you just play big, dumb, stupid stuff. And I mean, if people don't like the sound of that, then they can go play their Kranko or their Kalia or their Atraxa and leave me the fuck alone, because I don't want to associate with those people.
No, but yeah, you make a good point. You're right. I do think when I think of Kruphix, I do think of like the embodiment of Simic. Now I know there's going to be probably Vorthos heads out there. Well, Simic is actually this and that with the Simic Combine and Ravnica. I'm like no. When I think of like the color pie, like just Simic, when I think of the green blue color pie, I feel like it does showcase both those colors greatly. Like you said, the no maximum hand size and just being able to save up a bunch of mana is to me the allure of green and blue. And so what I would tell someone, where if you're sort of more of a Timmy player where you like playing those big creatures and you want to play a Hydra, pay 20 mana into that Hydra and it comes out as a 20/20, that deck is for you right there.
Exactly. You should be selling these decks, not me. Oh, sorry.
Well, no. It's I did want to bring up real quick. You brought up something that I completely forgot about. Prophet of Kruphix.
Yes.
Did you play that card when it was legal in EDH?
No, so I didn't have my Kruphix deck when that was legal. Did you play it?
Yes, but I didn't play it because I didn't have Seedborn Muse or Teferi Mage of Zalfir in my deck at the time. That basically is Prophet of Kruphix in one. So when I played Prophet of Kruphix, a lot of people were thinking, "Oh, do you win now because you can infinite combo into that so quickly?" I told them, "No, I'm not gonna infinite combo. I'm just gonna build up a shit ton of mana, probably play Hydra Broodmaster because I think when I played it, I didn't have any Eldrazi in the deck. It was just more Hydra based because I just wanted to play big dumb Hydras because of Prophet of Kruphix."
Yeah, it's a sad it's banned, but it's understandable why it was banned.
But I wasn't abusing it. I didn't abuse it.
I know. I have cards like that too, where it comes down and people. I mean, not in my Kruphix deck, but in other decks where people are like, "Oh shit, game over." It's like, no, I'm just doing this to play with myself.
I mean, I know people like to complain about Cyclonic Rift, like, oh, it's too abusive and all that stuff, but to me, it resets the board for everyone but yourself. But if you're, so I guess the one argument I have against that is if someone doesn't counter it, that's kind of that pod's fault. Because especially, every time I've played Kruphix, if I'm in a pod and there's no other blue player, there is a much greater chance I'm going to win that game.
Yes.
At least in my experience. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be those certain commanders that it doesn't matter if they're playing counter spells or board wipes at all. They're just going to win, right? But just overall average in my experience, it's if there's no other blue player, it's okay, I'm basically going to win if I get really good draws here.
That's a really good observation because I'm just thinking about past games, and the last game I played with Kruphix, I lost, and I lost against a Zagana deck. I killed the other two players, and then the Zagana deck Cyclonic Rift me, and then kicked my ass.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I do have a question for you, though.
Sure.
The next set we're going to is Theros.
Oh, I know, I'm so excited.
do you think we're going to see Kruphix or another iteration of him? And if so, do you think they could make him any better?
Well,
like what if you could design a Kruphix? I guess I'm shotgunning you with questions here.
Sure.
So let's just start with, do you think we'll see Kruphix again?
Well, okay, so it's been a long time since I've read the story of Theros, and the only thing I can remember is Elspeth killing Heliod, and then Elspeth dying. But I don't remember what happened with Kruphix, though. Like, I didn't he like help Elspeth get into Nyx or something? And
yeah, it was something like, oh, we're being Vorthos now.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've read it. I'd have to look it up. But so I guess, I mean, it's possible we could see Kruphix, right? Because he didn't die or anything.
No, and if I remember correctly, I think he had a foreshadowing part where he was told about the Eldrazi and the Phyrexians and Nicol Bolas, because it was a Johnny and Elspeth.
Okay.
And he was told about that, and I remember him thinking, like it was just dialogue in his head, that he was thinking that if any of those things came to Theros, the gods were no match. Like the gods think they're these almighty beings, but if any of those threats came, they would be powerless.
Ooh, so does that mean we're going to see Phyrexians on Theros then? Because
That's what I want to see. Imagine that.
Nicobolus and the Eldrazi are basically taken care of, and then the Phyrexian. Oh my god! Because I love Greek mythology, and then the Phyrexians are the callback to Dominaria and all that.
Yeah.
And of course I know Mirrodin and all that, but to me it's more Dominarian than anything. But so yeah, I think it is possible we could see Kruphix. Now, what would a new Kruphix commander look like? Now, would it be another enchantment god creature? I don't know if it would, because I don't know if they're gonna do devotion again. I don't know if they
Really?
would.
Yeah. So someone brought up at pre-release that there, I mean, again, there seems to be like these Eldraine cards had very heavy monocolor converted mana costs. They had the legendary cycle of three
Yeah,
of
they
that.
they do. That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't think of this. Someone brought it to my attention, and it's like, holy shit, are they going to do devotion again?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like knowing Wizards, I mean, to me it would make sense to do it, but knowing Wizards, they want to do a new mechanic because that's what they
Hmm.
like doing for every set.
Yeah.
Maybe there would be some cards that would have devotion. I mean, obviously, we're probably not going to see every single god printed out because that's
No.
just too many gods. There's what, 15, right?
Hmm.
Well, now there's what, 14 because Heliod is dead.
Oh, yeah.
So, I
Or
mean,
Xenagos is dead.
oh yeah, Xenagos is dead too, right?
Yeah. Heliod will be dead.
Or wait, was it Xenagos that died or Heliod? I thought it was both. Or am I
I
just?
thought,
I'm
oh,
terrible at this.
Elspeth killed Xenagos, and then
Yeah.
Heliod killed Elspeth. But did she kill
Oh,
him at the same time? I don't know.
I don't remember. Well, see, that was the thing I was going to ask. Like, does Gideon maybe ascend to a god or
Oh,
something?
fuck off. I don't want to see Gideon anymore.
Poor Gids.
He's happy. Let him. He's with his friends in the afterlife.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, let him stay there. I mean, but so what would a new Kruphix commander look like? Would it stay Simic? If it stayed Simic, let me see. You could do something like the green part could be something like I mean, something boring off the top of my head, like each, creature enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it. And then the blue part could be I've got like a draw card thing, but that sounds too much like sounds too boring though. Um what could it be? Because right now we have a maximum hand size and you get to keep your mana. So if we were to try to go on the same path,
Yeah.
maybe
Well, I was thinking what you were saying. If they did the +1/+1 counter, then
well,
the blue could be like remove X counters from creatures you control. Or draw that many cards, or take control of a creature, or something.
I could see something like that, yeah. Or maybe, okay, well, I don't know how broken this would be, but maybe they enter in with a +1/+1 counter, and then you could pay, X amount to remove X amount of counters from whatever permanents you have, and you prevent that much damage from happening.
Ooh, like fog effects.
Like a fog effect or something. I mean, maybe that wouldn't be too good, but if there was a way to like build up a crap ton of counters, which there's a lot of cards for that. You could
Hmm.
just be like, okay, it could be a more aggressive Kruphix, right?
Yeah.
Where you go swinging in and then, they're trying to swing and attack you and you're just like, nope, going to prevent all the damage. Or maybe we could be even something dumber and you give all your, creatures and stuff, hexproof and shroud so they can't be targeted either.
Yeah. Hexproof would be another way to go. That's a because he
'Cause-
is a pacifist in the story, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's because it's too easy for me to just want to do something similar and like maybe just add a color to him, like maybe make him Bant or Teamer or something like
Hmm.
that. But if he's more of a pacifist, it'd be easy to add white onto his color pie and just do something like you gain life when play
Yeah.
something. But I don't know. I think I kind of like that idea. They give him counters and then you reduce counters to prevent something, prevent damage or give them hexproof or something like that, and
Yeah.
it could make your Kruphix a more go wide deck.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Do tokens or something. I don't know. I I guess that's the one downside of him is, and we kind of touched on that, is you don't really see super unique decks with him. Like he hits the table and you're kind of like, okay, this player is going to do big spells or big creatures.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And just like looking at our list, it's how are you gonna do that? Yours is definitely a more alpha strike deck,
Hmm.
and mine's definitely more control. So I mean, there's different ways to build it. You know,
Yeah.
you know. Speaking of different kind of builds, when I'm looking at some of the cards that EDH Rec is posing here,
Hmm.
there's one card here that I have been really tempted to put in, but I also hate it because it's such a makes you a high target, and that would be
Okay.
Jin Gitaxis.
Yes. And you could probably say the same about the green one too, Vorinclex.
Yeah, Vorinclex. It's I know I could easily put him in and it would make my deck better. It's just I already have enough high target aggro cards per se. Being
Yeah.
like all the Eldrazi and all that. It's just I don't want to. I guess I don't want to piss off the pod even more because then they're just gonna be like, oh fuck that, we're gonna kill you right away, so you don't keep doing stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And that my thoughts exactly. It goes with you want to do your stuff, but you don't want to be assuming, or you want to be unassuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Mystic Snake. That was the other one that I put in that I didn't put in, or I put Frilled Mystic in, um, instead of Mystic Snake. Basically, they're the same card. You know,
Hmm.
there's. Sorry, it's like my mind's going like 5 million miles a second
No,
here.
don't worry about it. I could talk
No,
about.
so,
We could make a podcast just about Kruphix.
oh my god.
Horizons, a Kruphix podcast.
Just talk about our games and actually
Yeah.
go over each individual card. But so there's another card that I had on my deck forever since the very beginning that I no longer have in here,
Hmm.
just because of the nature of me trying to perfect my deck the best way it can be, and that is Progenitor Mimic. I used to have Progenitor Mimic in my deck for a long time.
I was actually going to ask you about that.
So for people who don't know, it's a 4 green and blue shapeshifter. You may have Progenitor Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this creature is in a token, create a token that's a copy of this creature. So if I remembered correctly, I would copy. I may not even have it in my deck anymore. I don't even remember. I probably copy something like Acidic Slime or Eternal Witness would be
Hmm.
the two cards, because especially Eternal Witness, where okay, I'm going to play Cyclonic Rift, okay, I'm going to play Progenitor Mimic copying my Eternal Witness, I'm just going to get it back again.
Oh my God, that'd be gross. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But God, you're making me want to put it back in almost. But
That would be messed up, man. That would be every turn you could do that.
yeah, I can't remember what I replaced it with now. Now that I'm looking at, I probably took it out and put like Ristic Study or Omniscience when I finally got Ristic Study, because I didn't have that for the longest time.
Hmm. I don't have it, or it would be in the deck. I have the fish one, Mystic Remora.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's a lot less. I mean, it's still good with Kruphix because the cumulative upkeep. Yeah, it's gonna start getting costly after a while, but um, in after a while, it's not going to be that much of a big deal because you're going to keep saving up mana anyway
hmm,
with it. But Ristic Study, I know it's an obnoxious card, but it's such a good card too.
yeah. I did have a question about one of the cards in your deck
Sure.
that I was curious about. Merc Fiend Liege. Is that like, why is that in there? I'll just be upfront.
Um, you know what? That is I could probably do with getting rid of that, because that is one of the first creature cards that I put in back when it was more Hydras, and I mainly kept it in there to get Kruphix online and pump them up, and also pump up some of my other green and blue creatures as well.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, you're right. That could be. I could probably get rid of it, but that's sort of it's a relic from a bygone era of my deck. I
Yeah.
still like it because I can untap some of my mana dorks that I have in, or like my birds or my incubation druid,
Yeah.
and
Survive
it.
the crackback if you swing
Yep.
with everything. Yeah.
hmm
I'm sorry, not to
Oh
aggressively put
no,
you
no,
on the
no. That's
spot
fine.
there.
That's
I
fine.
was
Yeah,
I
because
was
you're
because
right.
it's been in.
It
Oh,
doesn't make sense really now. I could possibly put something else in it that is better. But yeah, I mean that's the original reason why I had it in, because there was no Eldrazi at the beginning.
yeah. Yeah, because I've always slipped it into like testing with Kruphix, and then
hmm
I'm like, why? Why? It's not really doing much. And even when I have probably 5, 6 mana dorks, and I still it's like, yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it
So
for right now the best thing it does for me right now is just help get Kruphix online if I need a blocker.
yeah,
Um, and plus since it pumps up Kruphix twice, it makes him a 6/9. No,
hmm
yeah, 6/9 at that point. Um,
yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the EDH rec and I'm remembering some of the other cards I used to have in. I used to have Oracle of Moldiah and Corsair Kruphix in there. I used to have
hmm
Deadeye Navigator for.
ooh,
What the hell did I have Deadeye Navigator in there for? Exile, then return. There must have been some other card I had it in there for that I do not remember right now. Oh, maybe it was Eternal Witness I had it in there for.
yeah,
Just to keep.
to
Oh, no, no, I remember why. Because I used to be really degenerate and have Palinchron in this deck too. Just to get infinite mana and then pump up all my Hydras to, whatever and kill people with. I remember that now.
jeez.
Oh my god. I forgot all about that.
Well, something you could do, and I know it's 2 cards, so you might not always get it, is if you put Deadeye back in and you had Frilled Mystic, you would just have a counter on a stick.
Oh shit. Oh man. That I mean, it's well, because you know what? I think we have found the card to replace Murkfiend Liege with in my deck here. Maybe get rid of that and put Deadeye back in, and there you go, because it would go great with Frilled Mystic, like you said,
Yeah,
or Eternal Witness, or Acidic Slime.
yeah.
God, what else?
Yeah, I'm
No,
trying to.
I think that'd really be it. Just those. Um, yeah, just really those cards. But I mean, even then, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just doing those three.
Yeah, and you could always, attach it to something else and then chump and then blink so it doesn't die.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Now you want, I have 3 Deadeyes. Now you want me to go get a fourth one to put into Kruphix.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I remember, I'm starting to remember I did have some more infinite combos in there too, where I think I even had Enter the Infinite. I used to have Chasm Skulker in there,
Oh,
where
yeah, yeah.
I would just draw a shit ton of cards, and then okay, I think I'd kill Chasm Skulker myself just to have a shit ton of 1/1s out.
The squids, yeah.
Yeah. So there's I took that out. So that's right. Another Hydra I used to have on my deck was Mana Gorger Hydra, and
Oh,
that
I have nightmares about that card.
I I'm surprised. Yeah, I took it out for probably something. I don't remember what I replaced it with, but I have actually won games with just that one card. I remember specifically winning this one pod with just that card out, because I don't remember. No one could get rid of it. Everyone basically ignored it. And everybody, I think it got up as high as like a 22/22. And I was just either chump blocking them, or I would counter them trying to kill it. And I just swing and kill one person, then go after the next person and the other. And just no one could stop it. And
That
that was the only creature I had out too, besides
that's
Kruphix.
incredible. That's fantastic.
I miss
Yeah,
that card. That was a good one.
you should throw it back in. A card that I've been very tempted to try out is Mass Manipulation from Ravnica
Yeah,
Legion.
that's right. That is a really that would go really good with Kruphix too.
Yeah.
I actually have that in my Nicol Bolas deck, my thief deck because
Okay.
it goes perfect with it. But something like this where you can build up a lot of mana and 4 blue is pretty much nothing for this deck.
Hmm.
That's actually, yeah, I would definitely try it out. You could probably
Yeah.
almost get rid of. I don't know what could I mean, Sylvan Scry. Well, no, Sylvan Scrying's for ramp.
I could take out my favorite combo of Enter the Infinite
Lab
and
Maniac.
Labman and Psychosis Crawler.
Oh,
Um,
you know what? I was talking to Chase Mana Curves just last
mhm.
night, and she told me like when she plays EDH, because she has like a few combos like that, just draw out your deck. So
Yeah,
she no longer plays Lab Maniac in her decks now. She now plays the new Jace Planeswalker instead because
yeah,
a lot more people are when they see that new Jace come out, they're going to be like, "Oh, whatever, you're just going to draw some cards or something like that. Who cares?" So they're so unassuming with that because as soon as people see Lab Maniac come out, they're like, "Oh, okay, I know what you're doing. You're going to
yeah.
try to win." With the new Jace, they're going to be like, "Okay, yeah, whatever. Who cares about that Planeswalker?" Then play Enter the Infinite. Oh shit.
That's a good point. Yeah.
you know,
I
I, Maybe just to change it up one time, try the new Jace and see, and just get people to think like, "Oh shit, what the hell are you doing now?" And just get them all
yeah,
confused.
yeah, because whenever I do, like, if I'm playing Lab Man, I've already played Enter the Infinite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But if I'm if I'm playing Lab Man as a blocker or something, I'm not winning that game. But you're right, you
Yeah.
could get the Jace out just to have value, draw your few cards here and there, and then if you get the combo, then I like this discussion we've been having, Zuby. This
It's been really fun.
makes me want to reconsider my Kruphix deck. I want to play it right now.
I know, right? It's we should do something because you ever see MTG Lexicon how they do their paper EDH just over Skype and all that.
Yeah,
Um, you and
I
we should try to do something like that. Maybe just do Kruphix versus Kruphix and see who ramps up the most.
I'd be so down for that, or even just get a play group going because Slivers went on to Lexicon recently.
Yeah, he
I
did, and
saw.
and he has like a little setup now to where he showed me the little setup that he did, and it's just like this weird little camera pod, and it's a really simple setup too. He just uses web camera and puts it on that pod and plays that way, and it that would be kind of fun to do, like film it or stream it or something like that, and
Yeah,
it's I'd be down for something like that. I just need the time. That's my problem.
yeah. That's it. Sucks being an adult.
I
I
know
was
it.
thinking about this today. It's like playing a kid's card game as an adult is so liberating because I have the money, but it's also so restrictive because I have a job.
Yeah, I know. I think about that because one thing, since I'm not playing Modern or Legacy anymore, I took apart my Legacy and Modern decks. And I sold off pretty much all my fetch lands and all my really good lands and all that.
Mhm.
And I think about it now, where now I'm playing pretty much EDH, and I look at all my mana bases for my EDH decks, and I'm like, wow, they are terrible. I probably
Yeah.
should have kept all my fetches, but I kind of wanted the money at the time, and it's not the worst thing in the world. So I think like I could go and buy all the fetches again, but it's like, do I want to?
Yeah,
Do I
it's
really
like
want to spend all that money for it? For a I don't mind evolving wilds or terramorphic expanse. They're not the best cards, but I don't mind them.
no. Well, I mean, you're playing Wilderness Reclamation. Who cares if they come in tapped?
Yeah, and then when I get my case of Throne of Eldraine, if I get some Fabled Passages, boom, there you go.
There you go. You get your evolved wilds.
Yeah, and
They all
I do have the Prismatic Vista too as well. I've got a few copies of those, so I could put that in there, you know.
nice.
But
I think I'm doing the opposite of you. I was into EDH and now I'm trying to go into paper modern. So I have a bunch of EDH cards in my EDH decks I have to take out and put into my modern
yeah,
deck.
I've done that. What kind of modern deck? I mean, switching to modern real quick. What kind of modern deck are you trying to build right now?
So I'm building it's nothing tiered or competitive, but it's there's a video on my channel from probably almost 2 years ago now. It's called Killing You Kindly. And the deck revolves around Forbidden Orchard, the land that taps for any color, but
Mm-hmm.
gives your opponents a 1/1 spirit. Uh,
Oh, okay.
it's revolved around that, and the Curse from Amonkhet that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, they lose 1 life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then stuff that kills off tokens, like give tokens neg 1, Shrieking Affliction, I think it's called.
Okay.
And then like Blood Artist. So, and basically, and then the rest of the deck is just control and Pillow Fort.
Oh God.
So it, so yeah, it's like turn one, you don't really do anything. Turn th- turn two, you might do your Blood Artist. Turn three, you drop your Ghostly Prison, and then you start dropping your Forbidden Orchards with your Expedition maps to tutor them up. And
Sounds
then at the
gross.
end, you just wait, and at the end of their turn, you tap them for mana that you just burn. They get some spirits, lose some life, and then there's like a Hunted Phantasm in there. So when that drops, they get 5/1/1s and
Oh wow.
Panharmonicon to double that up.
Oh
It's
Jesus.
it's 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 not a competitive deck, and a Blood Moon shuts it down instantly, but it's something where people don't really have a way to stop it. It doesn't revolve around the graveyard, so they can't sideboard in Leyline of the Voids. Doesn't revolve around
So it seems like it
basic.
can just take some wins off people unexpected. Sort of like when 8 Rec, takes some wins off people in like
Exactly.
modern. I like that. That sounds really interesting. As I used to play a Grixis Delver, and then I used to have blue white control in modern, and I loved blue white control, but dear God, every game was such a it got tiring to play that deck because you're just having to really concentrate and focus and think about what to counter, what to board wipe, and hopefully my Mind Sculptor doesn't die, and hopefully my Teferi doesn't die, and
Jeez, yeah, I
yeah,
can't. I have a control EDH deck, and it just takes so much brain power to play that I rarely play it. I can't imagine doing that in modern, where you're striving to win, to do well. And
yeah.
kudos to you, man.
I've got one. Well, I mean, a lot of my decks are control, but I got Grand Arbiter, Augustin, as an EDH deck, and he is my go-to control deck if I know my friends are playing really stupid combo-y infinite combo decks or just really degenerate decks in
Oh
EDH.
yeah.
So it basically plays a stacks control. I don't allow you to do anything, and my only win con is Approach of the Second Sun.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So there was a game I played I think a month or two ago where I had Smothering Tithe out. Smothering Tithe had like 20 counters on it or something like that, and or 20 treasure tokens. I mean, and I draw a card. It's Approach of the Second Sun. I cast it, and then I put it back in my hand. No one counters it because they're both playing blue. And then I have a Dig Through Time in hand, so I'm like, okay, well I win now. And they're like, how? Well, I'm going to cast Dig Through Time. I still have plenty of mana left over, and I'm going to cast Approach again.
Oh.
They're like, fuck you, Zuby.
Oh God, approach. If
Yeah,
that if
I
that
love it.
was if that was in Kruphix's colors, that would be in the deck 100%.
So if Kruphix is Bant colors in the new Theros set, then yeah, it's gonna have to. I'm gonna have to build a separate Kruphix deck and just put Approach in there just to piss off my friends.
I mean, yeah. Why is there a question about it? If they make another Kruphix deck, I'm making another another Kruphix, I'm making another Kruphix deck.
Oh yeah, I mean, how do you not? You know.
Yeah.
So
I
there's speaking before we end it here, I do want to ask, where is it? Because this used to be a really popular Kruphix play. At least I don't see it too much anymore. The Helix Pinnacle. I used to see
Oh
that
yeah.
all the time with other Kruphix decks. I don't see it that much anymore. Do you see it at all anymore? Really?
No. So the only other Kruphix deck I've seen was very similar to yours. But even less creatures. I think they just had the Eldrazi Titans, Seedborn Muse. Like they didn't have the Hydras or anything.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and then they had more intense stuff like Sylvan Library and yeah. I've only seen Helix Pinnacle once, and that was in the mono green Omnath. in mono green
Oh yeah,
automath deck.
yeah. That
Uh,
deck can be degenerate.
but isn't there some sort of restriction on Helix Pinnacle?
What do you mean?
I thought. I thought because I remember I was gonna put it in a deck or in a combo video, but there was
Because it's
um
you basically pay X to put X tower counters on it, and then when you
oh
have 100 or more, you win the game.
yeah, it has Shroud. That was the restriction I thought because I was thinking of like doubling the counters on it somehow, but you can't target it. But that
Well,
has nothing to do with Kruphix.
wouldn't doubling season work on that?
Doubling season would, yeah. Yeah.
Because doubling season doesn't target. Um, yeah, and if effect would put one or more counters on a permanent you control. I cannot believe doubling season's like almost $70 now.
Yeah, after
Jesus
being reprinted,
Christ.
granted a year ago, but
And it does. God, it's the older you get, the crazier it's like. I can't believe like Battle Bond was a year ago. It feels like just yesterday. And
yeah,
just talking with Chase last night, we're talking about Amonkhet and all that. And I'm like, shit, that was already what 3 years ago already. Amonkhet came out.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. It feels like just yesterday it came out. Um,
And I feel that hurts the most when you want to buy cards from those sets, but you keep putting it off. Like
hmm
like in core 2020, Leyline of Anticipation went down to like $4 or something. And I kept going, oh, I'll buy it on my next order. Oh, on my next order. Well, now it's back up to $10. It's like fuck.
I know, like speaking of Amonkhet, is I had a bunch of anointed processions, but I sold them because they started
No.
because they were selling for like $10 at the time, and now they're up to like
Yep.
$20 a pop. I'm like, shit. Like that'd go
Yeah.
perfect in my newly rebuilt Rise the Redeem. I mean, yeah, I know I could easily spend $20 and get it, but it's just a feels bad type thing, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. I had, speaking of that card, I had it in my cart once during an order when it was like $7 in
Yeah.
Canada. So that must have been $5 in the States. And I was like, oh, I can't justify $7 on this card. I should have fucking
I know.
justified the $7 on that
I know.
card.
It's such a pain in the ass because it's so easy to fall in that fear of missing out BS.
Yeah. Oh,
But
and again, not to sidetrack, I know we should probably be wrapping up, but I'm so disappointed in what Magic Finance has become, especially with the growth of EDH. It's like these cards that should be in people's hands are just being bought out and stuffed in a closet.
I mean,
It's
I
like,
love that EDH is getting more and more popular. I love it because you find more and more people to play it with. But I
yeah,
hate what you just said right now with the finance part because now there's, now cards that used to be, 50 cents to 25 cents and they were just for EDH because they were like really broken and awesome in EDH. Now those same cards are like, $15-$20 and you're like, oh shit, you know.
yeah,
It,
yeah.
it gets
And
frustrating sometimes.
yeah, and even with like the cards that jumped up that much are ridiculous. But I almost hate it more the ones that have jumped up just a little. Sakura Tribuilder, which is in both of our lists because it's an amazing card.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like in the States, but I remember it was a 25-cent card. I had stacks of them. Whenever someone built a new EDH deck, if it had green, I'd be like, here's your Tribuilder. It's
Yeah.
now $2 or $3 in Canada.
Yeah, it's a
It's
dollar
like,
30 in the US and I mean that's not a lot of money, but still it's a common. It should net and it's been reprinted in Commander decks too. And it's
yeah,
still that much money. That's stupid.
yeah, and it like people might be listening and saying $1.30 isn't that much. Well, if every card in your EDH deck beside your basic land have gone up that little bit, that's like 70 cards.
Yeah,
That
and
could,
you're right. I mean, a lot of these cards, I've had forever, so I didn't, I never paid the full price or I pulled them out of booster packs or whatever. So it's not that big a deal, but it's also kind of frustrating because, I want people to either play these commanders or play these cards and then they just start looking at the prices and they're like, yeah, no. And
yeah,
it is restrictive. I mean, I understand. Do I want all my cards to go completely lose all their value? No, because I'd like the ability where I can sell my cards. But it's
hmm
also I want to be able to get more friends into Magic and then, they realize And I always try to tell some of my friends, stop buying booster packs, all right? Only
Yeah.
do drafting for boosters, or if you're going to buy booster packs, just buy a box at least, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's, it is what it is with it. I mean, that could be a whole separate podcast just talking about the effect of Magic Finance on Magic as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it right now with the Throne of Eldraine collectors boosters and all that. It's such a... I barely know what's going on with it, but I hear everybody bitching, complaining about it, and I'm like, that's why I'm just not going to bother with it. I'm just going to buy the regular booster packs, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm trying to cancel out all the negativity with the game, but Wizards doesn't make it easy to do that.
No, they really don't, but, it is what it is. It happens.
Yeah.
So I guess wrapping up here, yeah, we talked about, why Kruphix, we love Kruphix, and, what would you do to get other people to play, and just talk about specific cards we really like. And I did like the question where, try to come up with a new Kruphix here. Yeah, so, no, I just want to thank you for coming on, man. It's been a lot of fun, and just doing this sort of like first inaugural episode, just so everybody knows this is sort of like at the seat of my pants. He and I have been talking about this, and I came up with some ideas and some questions I wanted to ask, but it's been just sort of, we'll just talk about our decks type thing.
Yeah, I mean,
just talk about the commander.
Yeah, it was fun. I like this winging it, and I want to thank you for having me on, because I've been listening to your podcast since you brought me into this little growing group of Magic creators. So it's nice to know I made it.
You're welcome, man. You made it on Magic with Zuby, which I don't know if that's saying much, but
yeah, you know what? We're all in this together. It's making it for me. It's making it for me.
Well, awesome, man. Well, thank you. Where can people find you if they want to check you out?
So they can find me on YouTube at King of Jank, and I am actually on the cusp of 1,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd get there.
Oh, nice.
But on the very cusp. So you could be the 1,000th. Jesus, can't talk. You could be that one that pushes me over the edge.
That's
in a good way.
Yeah, and then you'd get close to monetization and all that.
Yeah,
too.
Watch out, Professor. Here I come.
Oh, man.
Oh, yep. And then you can find me on the Stomping Grounds podcast on Undyne MTG YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter at King of Jank. I don't post anything besides links to my videos. People keep following me. Thanks for that. And that's about it.
Well, awesome, man. I just want to thank you again for coming on. And like I said, it's been great. And thanks again, and have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, thanks again, Zub.
Hey everybody, hope you really enjoyed the episode as much as I did. I thought it was a great first entry into the Commander deep dive discussions that I want to try to do some more of with other people here. And, let me know what you think about the episode. I want to hear from you all. Send me an email or reach out to me via Twitter. Or, tell me on the YouTube video as well, too. So if you want to reach out to me, I can be found on Facebook.com/MagicWithZuby, on Twitter at MagicWithZuby, on Instagram at Magic_with_Zuby. And you can email me with any questions you may have at mtgzuby@gmail.com. This podcast can be found on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio, and finally Spotify. And you can help support the show by going to the show's Patreon at patreon.com/MagicWithZuby. And if you want to help support the show as well, be sure to check out the show's sponsor, legitmtg.com. And I think that about does it. Thank you again all for listening, and I hope you really enjoyed it. And thank you again, Josh, King of Jank, for coming on. It was an awesome episode. I had a really fun time talking with you, and I hope all of you out there really enjoyed it as well, too.